Yesterday marked the one-year anniversary of Kamala Harris being handed on a silver platter on a little velvet pillow, like a crown that one gives to a queen when she's coronated, the Democrat nomination. And, well, we've got quite a look back here to acknowledge this momentous moment in American history. And we've got an actor, an unhinged, crazy, angry liberal, Jeff Daniels, who really wants to gaslight you on what a Kamala Harris presidency might have looked like. We're going to share that with you coming up in a second. But first, to the anniversary, here she was, Kamala Harris, yesterday afternoon. Boy, talk about tone deaf. Talk about not reading the room. Kamala Harris puts out this tweet. 1 year ago today, I began my campaign for president of the United States. Her campaign was handed to her. It wasn't even her campaign. It was Biden's campaign that she inherited, including over $100 million, if I remember right. No, excuse me, like $1 billion. She got tons of money already handed to her. Over the 107 days of our race, see what she's trying to do there? We only had 107 days. Please, lady, you never had to go in the primaries. You never had to do a debate. You never had to fend off any other candidates for the nomination. Spare me your complaints about the short runway. You never even had to fundraise. Biden handed everything over to you, literally. Over the 107 days of our race, I had the opportunity and honor to travel our nation and meet with Americans who were fighting for a better future. Let me ask you something, ma'am. You had been vice president for 3.5 years prior to the moment when you were handed the nomination by your party. Why did you only then start traveling the nation and meeting Americans who were fighting for a better future? What the hell were you doing as vice president? Shouldn't you have been spending some time meeting Americans, finding out what mattered to them? This is all just, gobbledygook. Today, millions of Americans continue to stand up for our values, our ideals, and our democracy. So they keep throwing democracy out there as if democracy is being threatened by Trump winning the presidency. They're still trying that crap. Their courage and resolve inspires me. Whether you're attending a protest, calling your representatives, or building community, I want to say thank you. We're in this fight together. Hey, you left out, setting cars on fire in the middle of downtown Los Angeles, ambushing ICE agents down at the border, and throwing a mouthful of lead in their face. But how about Antifa breaking windows and rioting in various places? Do you stand with them also, right? Think about who she cares about. Look at who she's communicating with. Attending a protest, calling your representatives, or building community, whatever that means. How about if you're out there working for a living and contributing to our economy and our society? How about that? How about raising a family and educating your children and teaching them values? Do you care about us? Are we part of the country at all? Nope. She only stands with you if you're attending a protest or bothering your representative in Washington. And then she gave us these pictures. Look at that. Really triumphant there at her rally. I wonder what the other side of that arena looked like. How many empty seats were there? And then there's this one. And then there's this one. And then my favorite, that one right there, because look at that guy, Tim Walz. I'm scrolling through these pictures and I'm like, hold on a minute. Like, okay, you got the candidate there. You got two crowd scenes here. And by the way, just so you know, everybody's sitting there, their cloud bubble, what they're thinking. When's Beyonce come out? I'm here for the concert. Is Megan Thee Stallion going to be here tonight? Got another crowd shot. And then this shot. I'm sorry, I've scrolled through these pictures a couple of times now. Where's the picture of Biden? Where's the picture of Joe? Where's the picture of her with her running, her partner, up until he got thrown under the tire treads? It's an interesting omission, don't you think? Also, where's the husband? I mean, sure, we got the work husband here, but not her husband. Fascinating. No mention of her husband either in that statement. Okay, that's fine. She wasn't the only one celebrating and acknowledging the anniversary of the Kamala campaign. This tweet comes from the person who ran the Kamala HQ social media accounts, Paulina Mangubat. It's been 1 year since the fastest rebrand and design sprint of my life. See, look, we had this one. Oh, we got to get a Kamala HQ. What do you think? And then here's the text messages back and forth on the logo design. Does this suck? I'm trying to make it look like one of those gossip Twitter accounts. I love the inner dialogue here of what they were trying to achieve with the social media platform support, or excuse me, the social media accounts supporting the Kamala campaign. I want it to look like a gossip Twitter account. These are serious people to govern our nation. Like, this looks really cool. IDK. Oh, Brat Green. Oh, then a germ of an idea came. Here we go. Oh, it looks so good on my burner. I'm like giddy. Thank God we dodged the bullet. Not only did we dodge the bullet of Harris and Walz being in power, but we dodged these people actually being in the White House with jobs. But they ended up with that one on top. It was all about Brat Summer. You remember? Everything was this green color. It was all Brat. Kamala is Brat. Kamala is Brat. Brat, do you remember this? And oh my God, the media loved it. They went nuts with it. They thought it was so cutting edge. It was so hip. It was really going to talk to young people on TikTok. Remember? We made fun of it on this show. Look through our archive. Go by date. You'll see it. It was right around this time back then. And they really thought that they were edgy and trendy and capturing this zeitgeist. Summer 2024. This is how we're going to win the White House. Never mind, where she stands on positions. Never mind how extreme she is. Never mind that the last time she ran for president, she made a bunch of money. She got a whole lot of attention when she had her big opening rally in Oakland, and all the media was on board with her. But then, of course, when voters got to know her, well, things sort of spiraled down the toilet. And she didn't even make it to Iowa. Yeah, never mind all of that. We're going to reinvent the wheel. We're going to try to force feed this thing to the American people and convince you all that Kamala's the new it girl. Welcome to Camelot, says New York Magazine. And look at everybody celebrating. Even old Joe is there. AOC, Chuck Schumer. There's Megan Thee Stallion. That's Barack Obama. Look at that. George Clooney, Nancy Pelosi, Beyonce, Hakeem Jeffries, they're all celebrating. And New York sub-headline, in a matter of days, the Democratic Party discovered its future was actually in the White House all along. Boy, that didn't age well, did it? Or did it? I mean, maybe Kamala Harris still is the future. I mean, if you think about it, they just spent hundreds of millions of dollars, really, after all of the political action committees and the unions and all that. We're talking billions of dollars to try to force feed Kamala Harris down the throats of the American people to tell us she was this incredible, dynamic, transformative political figure. So here we are just a year later, and they're all like, I don't know, we don't have a leader. Who's gonna be our nominee? Maybe it's gonna be Pete Buttigieg. Maybe it's gonna be Wes Moore. Maybe, I don't know, who does George Clooney like? Maybe Tim Walz. Maybe. Why aren't they all just saying, hey guys, Kamala's our leader? I mean, come on, look. Back in July, the Democratic Party discovered its future was actually in the White House all along. How is your future gone just like that? She only had 107 days after all. Shouldn't she just have the nomination by acclamation? Right? Or, I don't know, were you all just bullshitting us the entire time? Yeah, maybe you were bullshitting us the entire time. So that's how the summer began, well, or midsummer, after she took the reins 1 year ago and celebrated this exciting moment when she became the transcendent, glorified nominee without actually ever having to campaign or get a vote. But she was it, man. And you had to be on board or you were on the wrong side of history. And things were going great. And the polls were looking good. And she picked Tim Walz. And the joy was back in Washington. The joy was back in the Democrat Party. The joy was back in campaigning again. Remember joy being the buzzword that everybody in the media repeated? Joy, joy, joy. Brat Summer joy. And it was going great until something happened, something horrible, something unexpected, something they tried to avoid, but ultimately they couldn't. They couldn't avoid it at all. Eventually, she actually opened her mouth and started talking. Not pre-produced ads and videos and films and Brat Summer teaser TikTok videos. No, no, no. She actually sat and answered questions. Now, of course, every single person that they handpicked was a patsy, except for the 15-minute interview she gave to Bret Baier that was an absolute disaster. But it would be unfair to show you Kamala Harris in that setting because that was actually, difficult for her. How about this one with Stephanie Ruhle on MSNBC, where she was basically given free reign? Listen, nothing but softballs. Go ahead and speak your mind and tell us what kind of president you're going to be and focus on policies because we really want to see how smart you are and how much better you are from Donald Trump. So go ahead, speak your mind. Go ahead.
Some of the work is going to be through what we do in terms of giving benefits and assistance to state and local governments around transit dollars and looking holistically at the connection between that and housing and looking holistically at the incentives we in the federal government can create for local and state governments to actually engage in planning in a holistic manner that includes prioritizing affordable housing.
In 25 seconds, she used holistic or holistically 3 times. Do you think there was like a side bet in the campaign? Do you think that before she went out for the interview, she pulled Tim Walz aside and said, hey, I bet you $50 I can work holistically into an answer 3 times, right? Okay, let's just do it. Let's do it. Let's goof on it. Doesn't matter. We're going to win. We got the media on our side. We got academia on our side and Lin-Manuel Miranda and even Lena Dunham. They're all on my side. I'm going to get Beyonce. I'm going to get Taylor Swift. I'm going to get everybody endorsing me. So I'm going to win. So who cares about the interview? I'm going to say holistically 3 times in 30 seconds. She's just so bad. God, I miss her. Don't you miss her? She was transcendent, all right. Well, it's funny. We're joking about how we miss her because we don't, because she's a moron. But Jeff Daniels, crazy left-wing liberal actor, he actually does miss her. In fact, he said something to Nicole Wallace in this one-on-one interview for her podcast called The Best People. I do love it when Nicole Wallace decides who's the best people. And of course, this person, Jeff Daniels, is one of the best people. And they're the best people because they think you're the worst people. That's how we determine who the best people are, based on their opinion of you and me. So here's Jeff Daniels waxing poetic and melancholy about what could have been, what should have been, what would have been if Kamala Harris had been president.
I still think about Kamala and how I think she would have been a good choice. I don't care what they say, because she would have done what Lincoln did. Liz Cheney would have been Secretary of State.
Team of Rivals.
Yeah, Team of Rivals. Doris Kearns Goodwin wrote the book about it. That's what Lincoln did. Surrounded himself with the people who would disagree with him, not the people who would, take a knee and go, yeah, more tariffs, sir, more. It's the madness of King George. And just the deterioration of the Republican Party. I mean, look, I'm just an actor. What do I know? But when Mitch started stacking the courts 25 years ago, I said it on your show once. They can see it coming. The new America that is diverse and treats everyone with equality and respect and dignity, kind of like Jesus did. We're ready for that. And Mitch and company could see it coming. They were going to be the minority. So they just started, and then here we are. And now you got it.
That articulate SOB. All right, this deserves a bit of a breakdown because there's a whole lot there to unpack. Want to watch it again with me? Okay, let's do it.
I still think about Kamala and how I think she would have been a good choice. I don't care what they say, because she would have done what Lincoln did.
Ripped our nation into civil war. I mean, not that Lincoln did that, but the election of Abraham Lincoln certainly brought that on. He may be right about that, actually. Get Kurt Schlichter's book. It says it all. All right.
Liz Cheney would have been Secretary of State.
Whoa.
Team
Was
of
she-
Rivals.
Yeah, Team
Yeah.
of Rivals. Doris
I still maintain that Nicole Wallace is drunk half the time she does her shows. Listen to her say Team of Rivals. She's slurring here. But Liz Cheney, Secretary of State. And what's that?
Secretary of State.
Team
Was
of
she-
Rivals.
Yeah, Team
Yeah.
of Rivals. Doris Kearns Goodwin wrote the book about it.
Team of Rivals. Okay, so this whole idea of Liz Cheney as Secretary of State, which she wouldn't have been, by the way, but that's fine. The whole premise here is, yeah, she would have been like Lincoln. She would have surrounded herself with people who disagreed with her so that she could have all of these, rivals fighting over what the best policy is, right?
What Lincoln did, surrounded himself with the people who would disagree with him.
Wait, the whole point is Liz Cheney didn't disagree with her. They were on the same page. That's the whole point. There was no disagreement there. What exactly did Liz Cheney and Kamala Harris disagree on? Based on the campaign, Liz Cheney was completely on board with everything Kamala Harris wanted to do, at least in foreign policy and national security. That's why Liz Cheney supported her. What is this fantasy that they're creating all of a sudden? And no, Liz Cheney would not have been Secretary of State.
Not the people who would, take a knee and go, yeah, more tariffs, sir, more. It's the madness of King.
Madness at King George. I don't know if you've noticed, but the economy is soaring right now, and you're actually seeing analysts and reports. Go ahead and search the headlines. You'll see that it's tariffs that are buoying the economy right now, and part of the success that we're feeling. We had a surplus in the Federal Reserve, the Federal Treasury, excuse me, for the first time in a decade last month because of the tariff income. But yes, let's attack the tariffs. Absolutely. That strategy clearly isn't working. Jeff Daniels.
George. And just the deterioration of the Republican Party. I mean, look, I'm just an actor. What do I know?
You know what? That's probably the smartest and most relevant, wisest thing he said in the entire interview. It's true. You're right. You are just an actor. What do you know? I do like the tone, though. Listen to how sad and depressed they are. This is a guy who makes millions and millions and millions of dollars play acting, memorizing lines. Half the time, they don't even have to memorize their lines when it's TV and film, and pretending to be somebody else. And at some point, Aaron Sorkin hired him and put words in his mouth to make him sound smarter than he really is. And he now thinks, and seriously, Nicole Wallace thinks, that he's one of the best people who can lecture you and tell you how you should vote, how you should think, and then lamenting when you make the wrong choice from his perspective. It gets better, though, because, of course, Nicole Wallace asked him about Trump. And here's Jeff Daniels. And just remember this, next time you make your entertainment choices and you see Jeff Daniels is cast in a movie or some sort of streaming program that they really want you to watch, just remember what he thinks of you and your choice for president.
We've lost decency. We've lost civility. We've lost respect for the rule of law. Lost it. We have normalized verbal abuse on the internet. We've normalized bullying, much as the woke generation tried to, change that. It's back. And out the window goes character, integrity. I mean, nobody has great things to say about politicians. They never have. Go back to Mark Twain. But ideally, we're supposed to elect the best of us, not the worst of us. He's everything that's wrong with not just America, but with being a human being.
Well, I mean, at least he doesn't mince words. Jeff Daniels says that we should elect the best of us, not the worst of us. And suddenly we've normalized bullying. Do you think he saw Hunter Biden's interview yesterday? I'm sorry, what? We're supposed to have decorum and respectability and decency like the Biden family? What am I missing? And bullying when it comes to politics, about not having tolerance for opposing viewpoints. Have you ever met Barack Obama? Were you not alive from 2009 through 2016 when he encouraged people to get in the face of those who disagree over, universal health care or immigration or same-sex marriage or abortion or any other issues, and to get in their face, to ruin Christmas and Thanksgiving by bringing up issues like the Affordable Care Act at the family dinner table, to threaten not to have any contact with your parents if they disagree with you over politics. That didn't come from us, pal. But yeah, no, you're right. That's the narrative they've created, and it's Trump. Trump brought all of this on, after all. Yeah. Let's bring decency back to politics. Hunter Biden, 2028.